Hi again, it's Belinda from My Style Journey. Thank you so much for being here today. I've got a special guest with me today. It is my husband, and we want to share a few tips on how we have made a blended family work. Just off the bat, I want to say that I don't like the word blended family, but for the sake of this video and for want of a better word, I think everybody sort of knows what blended family is. So I just want to say thank you to Johann for making the effort and making the time. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate that the time is valuable. But thank you for being with me today.
I'm Johann, Belinda's husband, and this is we're going to try and do it as light-hearted as we possibly can in terms of the lessons learned, the pitfalls in terms of bringing two separate families together as a unit, and what we've done. So we haven't written books on this. Belinda has read a lot of books around this, but I've just taken the input that I received from her in terms of how we're going to do this. Our family is quite extensive. From Belinda's side, there is Jasmine, Roxanne and Condon, and from my side is Bianca and Monique, and they are twins. So age-wise, Jasmine is turning 29, Roxy is turning 27 in a few days, the twins are 21 years old, and Condon has just turned 18. And we've been together married for 7, been together for 9 years. And these are some tips on what we've experienced.
Okay, so I've written some points down, but we're just going to speak from our hearts. The first thing to do for any family, whether you're a first marriage or a second or a third marriage, is to love each other first. That builds a great foundation for the family. Do you agree?
I agree.
And it creates security and safety for the children to function within that family. So first and foremost, love each other and show each other love in front of your children. Because with each tip that we're going to share with you, we're going to share our specific challenges. And I think that showing love initially between us was something that was difficult to do, because we didn't have the children every second weekend, and that was easy. Then we were in the honeymoon phase, and then the weekend that we had all the children here, it was quite difficult to be as free with each other. Did you also find that?
No, I definitely share that experience with this, and just let me add on to that. In terms of love, trust follows love. And for there to be trust, there has to be a conducive environment for it. And I think that is we actually sacrificed a lot of ourselves in terms of establishing that first.
Which was wrong. It was, I think, we needed to work more on ourselves in the beginning. You don't have the luxury in a second marriage to have 2, 3, 4, 10 years to spend building your relationship. And although Johann and I have known each other since we were 16 years old, we came into our marriage in our mid-40s. So that was quite a challenge.
So it makes it very complicated because, like Belinda said, you actually don't have the honeymoon phase. You don't have the honeymoon phase of this.
Not really.
You have the honeymoon, and whether that be 10 or 20, 10 or 15 days is irrelevant. You end up bringing baggage and or children into the relationships, and I think in our early 40s we were both fairly set in our ways, and we had a very different approach to parenting as a start.
Yes, very different.
Very different. I'm the cool guy, I'm
the
the buddy, I'm the friend, where Belinda was more the disciplinarian. And the reason being, for my side of it, was I came from a very disciplined military type background, and I made a decision that that's not how I'm going to raise my children. So from one extreme I moved to the other extreme, in a sense of being a friend to the twins and not necessarily a father. And that ended up with a lot of conflict between Belinda and I, and that resulted in a problem right from the start. Because what I've realized in any relationship, there has to be boundaries. There has to be, that's the foundation. And this being Belinda's home, she has certain things that's applicable to anybody that comes here. It's not only applicable to the children, it's applicable to the guests on how she wants things done.
I think that is true of any woman. The woman sort of governs the home, and that's quite acceptable if you're the mom of your children. But when your stepchildren come into the mix, there's certain dynamics that are different. They might do something different in their own home with their own mom, and then have to do things differently in our home. And I think that that was something that Johann never wanted to address. He knew that things were different. He didn't want to address it because he wanted to save face with the twins. And I think that that was a huge mistake. And I think in hindsight you can see that that was a huge mistake.
Yes.
That comes back to the previous tip that we wanted that Johann brought in, which was trust. And I felt like he didn't trust me. He didn't trust me with the children. And I think in a sense you didn't. That's something that grew in our relationship.
In time and over time,
Yes.
that is one of the things that grew. And I needed to understand first that Belinda had not only the best interest of the twins at heart, but the best interest of all the children
Of the
and
family.
and the family at heart. And that was very important, and things started going much better the moment that I came to that realization.
Yes. Okay, so we've dealt with love, we've dealt with trust, we've dealt with boundaries. I just want to say about boundaries, I really feel that boundaries allow the family, each member of the family, to feel safe. So boundaries are not there to say you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. That's not what a boundary is. A boundary is a border, a borderline, a line in the sand that says there are consequences if you go over this threshold, or if you, it's just, children will then know what the consequences are and what things will lead to certain consequences. And that's what a boundary is.
Correct, and for me, I see it as in my field of work as what we refer to as a standard operating procedure. So I related back to that, and the moment that I got that concept, the lights went on,
It made more sense.
and things could just carry on. And then we could really build on building the cohesion.
Yeah, that's
in
the next
family,
tip.
yeah.
Cohesion, collaboration, and being in agreement. Being in agreement is not necessarily fundamental to making a family work, because there are things that we will never agree on. There are things that I'll come around to Johann's point of view after a while, and there are things where he comes around to my point of view. True?
True.
So when you're in disagreement, the next tip that we want to share is about respect. We can be in disagreement, we just need to do it with respect. Because if we can respect each other in our disagreements, it creates a ripple effect in our family that they automatically show respect to one another. Because children don't model their lives on what you tell them to do, they model their lives on how you live your life.
Now that's very true. So one of the tips is, Belinda used the word collaboration. Consultative would be the term that I would use. We would get together as a family around the table that we're sitting at now, and we would have discussions on a variety of topics and evaluate the input from the children.
Definitely.
But the deciding vote, if I can call it that, remains with Belinda and I, because we are the parents, we are elder, we're
wiser, we have more experience.
Correct. So, and I keep on mentioning it to the children when they raise an issue or there's an agreement, that I say to them, when you are 40 and you have children at your age, you're going to be faced with maybe a similar circumstances or situation, and hopefully the wisdom that we've imparted will form the basis of your decision.
Yes.
In the future, yeah.
So this brings us to the next point that we want to speak about, and that is building new traditions.
Yeah, traditions is common in every family, and it was a tradition in my family from birth to the age of 18 that we would gather in a town in South Africa called Port Elizabeth, where my father was originally from, that we would gather with the extended family there for the Christmas holidays. Belinda, on the other hand, has a totally different experience about Christmas specifically.
So you might have gathered that Johann is not English speaking. He's from Dutch descent. The Dutch celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve. And I'm from English descent and Irish descent, and we celebrate Christmas on Christmas Day. So that simple little issue could have become a huge thing in our family, and we decided to work around it and have a lot of fun with it. Because Christmas is really my kind of holiday.
Yeah.
From the British traditional side, you decorate your home, and I think most people are generally home for Christmas. So they're at home, they do Christmas at home, they have a lovely big English Christmas lunch or dinner. So we've sort of changed that up. We do a family tradition of Christmas Eve dinner, where if the children are in the area, because 3 of our children live in the same city, one lives at home with us, one lives in Bloemfontein, which is also in South Africa, and one lives overseas in the Middle East. So wherever possible, we stay at home for Christmas so that all the children can make it to our home, if they want to.
Yeah, now it's not simply, just the 7 of us having to concentrate on what we're doing. Prior to Belinda's ex-husband passing away and my ex-wife, we would have them every second Christmas or whatever the agreement was. So we needed to organize this, and sometimes we actually had the dinner before the time.
Yes.
So that on Christmas or Christmas Eve that they could be with the other parent.
Yes.
And then spend the time there. But it was, whether this now be on the 23rd or the 25th of December, it's
not set in stone.
No, it's just getting together.
Yes.
and having the family, the sense of community.
Yes.
And communion that we want to instill in these children. So this was something new for me, and we incorporated the best of or both set of traditions, and we combined it into what is now sort of a standing thing in our family.
Yes. So what we generally do, we get together for a dinner, and then we watch a Christmas movie together. And it's usually a movie that I choose, because Christmas is my holiday. But the kids have chosen a movie every now and then, not often. They'll probably say, if they watch this video, they'll probably say, when did they get to choose? So it's just a lovely way to connect over Christmas time. And then what we do is we open our gifts on that evening, leaving 1 or 2 gifts for Christmas Day, because my parents usually join us over Christmas. as you know, my mom is now living with me because she has Alzheimer's, but up until this last Christmas, they joined us at Christmas and partook of our Christmas Day celebrations. And even if our children weren't here on Christmas Eve, my parents were generally here. Yeah, so that is one tradition that we've put in place, and there's another one that Johann loves.
Yeah, it's the birthdays of each of the family members. The family member needs to choose a specific restaurant that none of the others have been to.
Just a challenge
So
with 7 of us in the family.
Yeah, so you sort of run out of ideas quickly, and you really need to go and do a little bit of research in terms of finding this. I actually found, for my 51st birthday, I found a restaurant that I knew as a student, and they relocated from the place where they've been, and I found them on the outskirts of Pretoria, and yeah, they've been operating for 45 years. So nobody could guess it. I put a bounty on it. I said, I'll give anybody 50,000 rand if they can
You
guess it.
didn't say 50, you said 10.
10,000 rand. But I knew that they wouldn't find it because, I mean, this is something that I last ate at in 1986.
So for the time being, Johann pays for the dinner, so the children, however old they might be, don't pay for it yet. But I think that as they start to get married and become more financially stable and secure, that will shift slightly. But for now, we do it and we pay for it, but it's a collaborative thing. And we all go for the dinner together,
Yes.
as far as humanly possible. Because at the end of this month is Roxy's 27th birthday, but Jasmine isn't able to be here because she's overseas. She was out a month ago.
Yeah, yeah. That covers the traditions, and what traditions does. It builds a sense of belonging.
Yes.
And community, and it strengthens the family group, because we put a lot of emphasis on the family.
We trust that in some small way our story might give you a glimmer of hope if you're in a dire situation in a step family. There were times when we felt that we didn't know how to go forward, but we always found a way. And I think if you love each other and you really want to make this relationship work, the truth of the matter is that the children leave home. They're going to go off. I mean, out of all our children that were living with us, we have one child left. That's my little nugget of advice to you, is to really work at this relationship. Family is complicated. It's difficult.
Yes, and this is not an easy journey.
No.
I think we said it previously, we were very naive in the beginning, because it was Belinda and I loving each other and wanting to be together, and
Just assuming everyone else would be on board.
But with kindness, love and respect and honor above everything else, you can create a situation that is not the same as ours. Each of these blended families are unique in their circumstances. That is my input on this.
I thank you for taking out the time to make for me today.
It's been a pleasure, and thank you, my angel, for all the effort and commitment through the dark and the light times that you've invested in getting this family to where it is. What makes it more worth it is the time that we spend together as a family in the celebrations or the traditions that we have, or just the family get-togethers, and meeting up on a Sunday or a Saturday, or it doesn't matter.
Going to a food market. That's another thing that we do often, is we gather around food.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you so much to each one of you. I so appreciate you. I don't know you by name necessarily unless you leave your name below. But I just thank you for the effort that you're putting into growing my channel. And if you feel that this can help somebody that you know that's in a step family or that is in their second or third marriage, please share this with them. If you like the content that we share on this channel, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and come back again. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, my love.
Pleasure, my love. Bye.